Hello and welcome to Theme Park Information. In today's show we'll be doing my top 10 roller coasters in the world. Sadly I don't have footage for all these rides, so you'll have to listen to me talk about them, but hopefully you'll enjoy the list and like, comment and subscribe. Cheers! So taking the number 10 spot is Expedition Everest at Disneyland's Animal Kingdom. This $100 million roller coaster by Vekoma is stunningly well themed, brilliantly good fun. It has a really kind of smooth kind of feel to it. It has a really good kind of story and atmosphere which really adds to the attraction. Obviously the theming for this ride is top notch. It has quite a few drops, it has some animatronics, it has a lovely little trick track in it. It is a really decent ride. I can't actually believe it's by Vekoma, but other than that, that's the one surprise. £100 million has been really well spent on this ride. It is a ride I have been on multiple times when I was in Florida, and I really enjoyed it. A definite top 10 ride, this one. So, taking the number 9 spot is Dueling Dragons, now called Dragon Challenge. It is a long time since I've been on this roller coaster in Islands of Adventure in Florida. Pretty much I went on it when they happened to duel. Hence the name. There's fire and ice, they're both being considered for it as a kind of dual coaster concept. The near-miss elements on these coasters make them really good. There's plenty of inversion speed, there's a little bit of airtime, there's intensity. It's a really well themed area. The overall size of these coasters is pretty massive. They're a really good kind of collection to Islands of Adventure and well worth going on. Sadly they don't duel anymore. So I'm not sure if they'd make my list nowadays, but when I went on them in 2006, they were phenomenally good. It's been a while since I've been there, unfortunately, but they are great rides. I actually really love the queue line as well, for whatever reason. I think the queue line's really well themed and just kind of keeps the rides kind of really nicely hidden. They both have, you know, really good drops. They have different elements on each side, which I also really like. But the crossover bits with the two vertical loops, that's great. And the bit where one of them's doing a barrel roll and you're just soaring above them, that's also really good. Also, there's hardly any queue for them when I was there. They were great rides and well worth going on. So, moving on to number 8 on our list is Flight of the Demon, which is located at Heidi Park in Soltau, Germany. This coaster is a B&M wing, and it has a 130-foot wing over drop. It has 5 inversions. It has a really cool kind of theming. The station's really nice. The restraints are really comfortable. The train itself is smooth. It's pretty much better than the Swarm, which is the only other wing coaster I've been on. I would highly recommend this coaster. It is a real plus point for Heidi Park and definitely deserving of being in the number 8 place. So, coming in at the number 7 spot is Dragon Khan, located at Fuerteventura in Salou, Spain. This 8-looping B&M sit-down roller coaster is really good. It opened with the park in 1995 and was a record holder for a number of years until Colossus at Fort Park opened. It is smooth, it has a great 150-foot drop or so, it has really good inversions which really map around the ride nicely. And also the way this ride interacts with the now built Shambhala is also really cool. It's a great park, especially with this and obviously a coaster which might turn up later in this list. So, coming in at number 6 on my list is Montu, the B&M suspended roller coaster, which is located at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay. This roller coaster is a really good suspended roller coaster. It is 150 foot tall. It has 7 inversions. It has a really cool drop. It has a nice Egyptian theme to it. It has the 7 inversions are all really good fun. They all flow and link together really nicely. There's not much time to catch your breath on this ride. It's really kind of fast-paced, intense. It's a great ride. I really enjoyed riding on it when I was in the US a few years ago, and it probably is the best roller coaster in this park if it wasn't for SheiKra. But this ride is well worthy of any top 10 ride. It has been voted in and around the top 10, 20 in the Golden Ticket Awards pretty much since it opened. So all of which point to the fact that this ride is highly regarded, not just by myself, but by other experts and coaster enthusiasts. Highly recommend going on it. So we're now at the halfway stage of the 5th best roller coaster I've been on, and when I first went to this park and went on this ride, it was called Six Flags Holland, to show how long ago it was. But the ride I am thinking about is of course Goliath, this pretty spectacular airtime monster which opened in 2002, is routinely considered one of the best rides in Europe, and there's a very good reason for that. It is smooth, it is quite high at 154 foot, it has a great drop, bags of airtime, really good kind of bank turns, there's little bunny hills at the end. I didn't have to queue that long for it. The ride has a really cool unique layout, and whenever it goes over the lakes just at the edge of the park, it is a smashing little ride, this one. Well worth going on. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of it going around, and I don't think any of the POVs or photos really do that much justice to this ride. It's one of those rides where you really have to go on and ride it yourself to fully appreciate just how good this ride is. So as I said, airtime, speed, everything. It just has a really good ride in there. It really is well worth going to this park just for this. That's how good it is. It was considered the best ride in Europe until quite recently, so. Right, so pretty much guys, the 4th best roller coaster on my list is SheiKra, which is a 200-foot B&M dive coaster. Now, oddly, I feel somewhat like the need to explain this ride as well as number 4, because there's going to be quite a few people watching this video who might be like, you've surely been on better rides, or the rides before it are better, and such like. The reason this is here is very simply, it was the first kind of major, unbelievable, blew my mind roller coaster I ever went on. It's, to start with, 200 foot. It feels a lot higher. It has an incredible vertical drop. It has a really cool implement inversion just following it. And then it has a second, almost vertical drop as well, which is just phenomenal. But literally just blows my mind. I mean, I was so scared going on this ride and going on it and down the drop and coming around and the second drop and then the water splash down, and it just really was just at the time a real kind of landmark coaster for me, and it has literally been my favourite roller coaster till quite recently when I started to visit theme parks around Europe. It might seem really strange to some people, but yeah, this is one of those parts which really is kind of special right there. It's really good, it's smooth, it's tall, it has a massive drop, has a water splashdown. It's generally a really good roller coaster anyway, but it's really strange I feel the need to justify going on it, but I'll put it in the list, but it definitely deserves to be there for me personally. Right, so into the top 3 we go, and kicking it off we have Colossus at Heidi Park. This coaster is a prefabricated Intamin roller coaster. It is pretty insanely high, it's almost 200 foot high. The drop on it feels like we're falling off the face of the earth. It has unbelievable airtime, ejector airtime. It really does fly you around. It goes quickly enough to almost make you cry. It is a fast-paced, blistering coaster with airtime, hills, a really cool kind of turnaround, loads of smaller hills towards the end. The only downside is the helix, which is at the kind of centre point of this ride, is a little bit painful, which is why this coaster is not higher up, but it's overall a really good ride. You could also argue it's not particularly well themed, other than a Statue of Liberty thing in the middle of it. There's not much else to it, but it's a really good ride. It's comfortable, it's forceful, it's powerful, it's quick. It has a lot of really good stuff to it. I mean, the only downside is the helix really, and unlikely that you'll find that enough to really put you off going on it. It's a really good ride. I would highly recommend it. It does say a lot that Heidi Park has 2 of the rides in this list, and both of which I would say are really, really good. This wooden roller coaster is the best I have been on. It's my favourite wooden roller coaster. Not that I've been on that many, but it's still the best. So the second best coaster I've ever been on is Helix, which is located at Liseberg in Sweden. This Mack Mega coaster is phenomenal. The track is long with 2 launches. It has a drop straight out of the station. It has 7 inversions. The train is open with lots of room for you to move around. It feels safe and secure, but at the same time you have freedom of movement. The ride itself is really smooth. The inversions are all really cool. There's airtime on it. There's tight turns. The launches are powerful. The only downside of this ride is there isn't a major drop. The highest point in the ride is 130 foot, and that is where you're going upside down over the kind of top hat inverted, where you then plummet that down and into a really cool kind of bank turn as you go around a few of their rides, like the swing set, and then into a huge airtime hill, which is phenomenal. That's probably the best bit of the ride. It twists and turns and interacts with the rides at the park really well. The station itself is really cool. It's based around a video game. The music for the ride is also exceptionally good by Imascore. Unfortunately, you do have to wait for quite a bit for this ride occasionally. It is the major ride at Liseberg. At the minute, hopefully they'll be building more rides and attractions soon. But this ride is simply stunning. It is easily the second best roller coaster I've been on. It possibly could be the best. Unfortunately, it just doesn't quite have the first drop, or a drop in general, which is the only thing it's missing really. I mean, as everything else, it just doesn't have that drop, unfortunately. So there should be no real surprise what my number 1 favourite roller coaster is. It is Shambhala, located in Fuerteventura in Salou, Spain, and this B&M hypercoaster is quite frankly stunning. I love the train setup with the kind of 2 in the middle and then 2 towards the wings slightly further back, which means everyone has a great view. The carriage is really open. The clamp restraint system they have means you're really free, but at the same time really secure. The fact this ride interacts with Dragon Khan, including going over Dragon Khan's lift hill, which just gives you some idea of how high this ride is really phenomenal. The drop feels intense, really smooth, quick. It is like falling off the side of a building. The airtime on this ride is phenomenal. There's at least 4 or 5 really major ejection airtime moments. The figure of 8 turnaround is really cool, especially if you're sitting on the right hand side of the train. That really does add to it and makes it far more intense. The water splashdown feature is really cool, and there's a great area to take photos as this ride looks stunning off ride. It has everything. It has the first drop, it has the height, it's smooth, it's open, it's freedom. It is quite possibly the best ride I've ever been on, and it probably will stay that way until I go on something exceptionally good. And I can't see anything at the minute other than like Fury 325, which will beat it. It just has so much airtime. The drop is so good, and it's just so comfortable to ride. I didn't even have to queue that long for it during all the times I went on it. It is quite possibly stunning. So guys, that was my top 10 roller coasters I've been on. If you disagree with my list or have a list of your own, feel free to write it in the comment section. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you later. Please like, comment and subscribe to Theme Park Information. Enjoy.